Welcome into Smooth Operators with your hosts, Noah, Griggs, and Ben, going through the world of Formula One.
If you want to interact with the show today, you can tweet at us at Noah_Phillips, at Junior_McClurkin, and at TheGriggsB. It's time for the green flag, and it's lights out, and away we go.
Hello and welcome into the 11th episode of Summer Shenanigans right here on WEGL 91.1 FM. This is Smooth Operators. My name is, of course, Noah Phillips, the man that's also on this podcast by the name of Griggs Blankenberg. He's had a great day today. Griggs, tell him how great of a day you've had today.
We're having a great day today. We got to watch some Formula One action. We get to talk about some Formula One action. And I had a hamburger for dinner. It's going great.
What kind of hamburger? We talking toppings? Cheese?
We're talking cheeseburger with some bacon and jalapenos that I've cut. So
You cut?
yeah, fresh from the garden, baby.
Man, this man is out here doing stuff. I had a bag of Skittles for dinner today.
That sounds good too.
But Griggs, what is the first topic of conversation that we're going to be talking about here today on Smooth Operators?
Well, of course, Noah. The first topic we're talking about today is, of course, we had a race day today. So that means it's a race recap, and that was the Hungarian Grand Prix where, stop me if I said this before, Noah, but Max Verstappen won the race today, his 7th in a row, the historic 12th win in a row for Red Bull, breaking McLaren's record that has stood for over 20 years. Red Bull has now won 12 races in a row. They've won all 11 races this year, along with Abu Dhabi 2021 of last year. The podium so far, we'll talk about after this. Max Verstappen in P1, 26 points. He gets the fastest lap. Red Bull gets the fastest pit stop for Sergio Perez. And finishing P2 for the second consecutive race is Lando Norris, the number 4 McLaren, 18 points. And rounding off the podium, after a great bounce-back performance for him after a past couple races, it is Sergio Perez back on the podium, scoring 15 points for Red Bull, and he was also your driver of the day.
Too bad those driver of the days do not get points, but there was a little bit of green lights there for the guys who root for the underdogs. Verstappen was not on pole going into this race.
He was not.
Hamilton was on pole. He got passed in lap 1, and Verstappen went on to cruise on to victory. So very interested to see if that increased the viewership any with Verstappen not starting in P1.
And it was a good race, I thought, from the start. I mean, you had the action at the first corner. You had the switching of the cars. You had Oscar Piastri in P2, Lando Norris P3. Hamilton drops all the way to 4 off the start. Let's go ahead and read through the rest of the point getters real quick before we get more into this. Lewis Hamilton, the Mercedes, finishing 4th, 12 points for him. Oscar Piastri of McLaren getting 10 points for 5th. George Russell scoring 8 points for 6th. Charles Leclerc for Ferrari finishing 7th, scoring 6 points. Carlos Sainz for Ferrari finishing 8th, scoring 4 points. Fernando Alonso of Aston Martin finishes 9th, gets 2 points. And rounding out the point getters is Lance Stroll with 1 point for Aston Martin. We had 2 DNFs for today, or actually 3 DNFs really. 2 did barely race at all. Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and Logan Sargent, who got to near the end of the race but ended up not finishing the race altogether. But Max Verstappen, a winning margin of 33.731 seconds. He's racing in a league of his own.
Yeah, and he's going to continue to do so probably throughout this next race in Spa. He'll probably race with himself in iRacing over the summer break, and then he'll continue to race by himself for the rest of the season. But like you said, a fantastic start to the race. I know my boys in 7th and 8th had a little bit of trouble with their pit stops.
Mainly 7.
Mainly 7. But, I mean, it affects the morale of the whole team. You know, not having a second wheel gun there to back them up just really, really hurt our morale, and that's why we didn't finish up higher.
And then speeding in the pit lane right there, you could see they thought he locked up his tires. He was just trying to brake so quickly because he was going too fast before he crossed that white line. Gets the 5-second penalty. Doesn't really matter because George Russell, I think, almost passed him anyway. But nevertheless, a good race. And Lando Norris back on the podium again. We talked about this last show, just how dominant these McLaren upgrades have been. Norris in the last 3 races, P4, P2, and P2 back-to-back. Can that illustrious win that he's been trying to chase, can he finally get it? We'll have to see in Spa, but another good race for him. Also, no, did you see what happened after the race with
Uh,
Lando Norris?
Lando's smashing the champagne down and breaking Verstappen's trophy is one of many. So I don't get why everybody's getting so hung up about it. It's not like he broke every
Well,
single one.
well, here's the thing. So Lando's, if you're new to F1 or don't really know, because Lando Norris is and technically he's had a podium each of the last 3 years, so technically that's happened. But when Lando wins or gets on a podium, he spikes the champagne down. The cork pops right off, and he sprays it like everyone else does. However, this time he hit it down on the P1 podium spot, breaks the statue, breaks the trophy that Max Verstappen gets. Now, Noah, I understand why you're saying this is just any other trophy. However, I looked into this one. This trophy takes over 4 months to build because it is porcelain, or I don't know. It might be like looks like terracotta almost.
It's one of
So
those fancy things.
yeah, so it's not like one of those like Silverstone Grand Prix trophies that just look like a spike. They're gonna have to get out the gorilla glue on this one, Noah. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult.
Well, I think it's better if you have it sitting there crashed in like your in your trophy case, because then it's like something special. It's like the Lombardi that Gronk bunted with. There's a story behind that. So I think they should
And
just
yeah,
leave it as it is.
and he won it last year too, so he has a intact trophy as well. So
He
there's
does.
that.
Plus, the manufacturer got one. So if all else fails, they can hand them that, because it's not like Red Bull has a decrease in trophies over there for their manufacturer.
True. Sorry about that. But yeah, and then just at the start, we talked about it. Lewis Hamilton, just Max Verstappen just got that important inside line, which is so important to get at the Hungarian Grand Prix. It just ruined really the rest of his day, his race pace. He dropped down to P4. He really stayed there almost the entire race. Never really was a threat to anyone trying to pass or anything like that. Except for when Oscar and Sergio Perez kind of got up near there because he started ninth today, gets third. But just looking more down on this list, Alex Albon almost getting away with that. He almost got a point. He was a little bit further back than what I was thinking. He was 14 seconds back, but then again, just he was running a pretty good race. That Williams just for him at least has been consistent. Not as much Logan Sargent. And then tough day for Alfa Romeo. They starting fifth and seventh all in the race. End up neither of them getting points. Valtteri Bottas finishing 12th and Zhou Guanyu finishing 16th. A tough race for them after a great qualifying. And then how about Daniel Ricciardo? He starts 13th, gets in a little bit of a conundrum at the start of the race, gets all the way back up to P13. Great first race for him back there. He outperforms Yuki Tsunoda in both the qualifying and the race again. So,
Well, I think F1 was this close to getting what they really wanted. I think they would have hijacked the votes if Daniel Ricciardo finished inside the top 10. They would have given him driver of the day so they could have something to talk about with their media.
but we're talking about it anyway, so it's okay.
We're giving the man his flowers, as they say in wrestling. I think honestly, Spa might be the one he does it at. Alfa
Yes.
Romeo. I think Alfa Romeo has a fast enough car to be near the.
You mean AlphaTauri?
Yeah, AlphaTauri. Good God. AlphaTauri has a fast enough car to be near the top 10, like they sort of were here in Hungary, and I think they could easily advance a spot, maybe get lucky with somebody DNFing and take a point there in Spa and give the story around ladders a great something to write about for the rest of the season.
But no, remember we talked about this. The script writers are on strike, so
That is correct. But are they the same though? We got to look into this. Where does these sports people get their writers from? Because if they get it from like Hollywood, yeah, those people are on strikes and nobody wants to be a scab. But they may be getting their writers from Europe. They may be getting their Charles Dickens, other European writers. I'm not very much of a reader. Dante, they may be getting their riders like that because they might not be from the same Hollywood contingent.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare's another one.
Yeah, that was good. But
what do you think Shakespeare would say if he like woke up and like saw a Formula One race? What do you think he'd be thinking in his head?
some metaphor or rhyme that I don't really know about. Some like that.
Yeah, it'd be one of those things.
But yeah, let's move on to our next topic of discussion. It's kind of the same thing though. We're talking about Alpine's anguish. So Alpine, contrary to the Griggs didn't really talk about them last week. Sorry, talking about myself in the third person. But yeah, off the line, they're both DNF. Their second double DNF in a row. They DNF'd at Silverstone, and now they DNF'd after only the first lap at Hungary. And now taking a quick look at our constructor standings, they are in sixth. McLaren has whizzed past them now. They're hot now on Ferrari's tail, 80 points back. Don't worry, Noah. They're probably not going to catch up there for at least another 3 or 4 races.
Well, I have a summer break. I have a summer break to think about that. So.
Yeah, that's true. But Alpine, I mean, they're kind of safe right now. I don't think Williams or Haas or Alfa Romeo or AlphaTauri are going to catch fire anytime soon. But Alpine just started off decently and then just came back to earth a little bit now. What do you think really is going on with that?
Well, I think some of they haven't really made a lot of upgrades. We've seen the McLarens and even Red Bull, I think, had a upgrade this week, some with their wing. They haven't really made a lot of upgrades, and they've had some decent qualifyings. We said Ocon, he qualified 10th, right, this past Hungarian Grand Prix. They just haven't been very lucky. They need to get some upgrades in. They need to just be a smidge more lucky. I don't know if that's carrying around a rabbit's foot or what that entails for the Alpine team, but they just have to find something to change their luck a little bit and get off the DNF trail, because this is the third race in a week. If you carry that morale into the summer break, nothing already gets done during the summer break anyway, but people are not going to be eating as well. They're going to have a bad taste in their mouth going into the summer break. I do have a quote here from Ocon at the end of this race. We must move on quickly with the aim of heading into the summer break on a good note. That me and Ocon are on the same wavelength. You have to have good morale going into that.
Yeah, me and Ocon are always on the same wavelength. You know this better than anyone. Me and Ocon, we know what the people want.
Y'all are basically the same person.
We're like this. Oui, French, baguette, all that stuff.
Hey, we got 100 downloads in France now.
Yes. Shout out France. I don't know how to say thank you in French, but
we'll learn. I'll start taking French on Duolingo.
Ratatouille. There we go. That was French. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say. I just threw this on there. Just the way they just performed these past 2 races isn't really what we've seen from them, especially with established race-winning drivers like Ocon and Gasly, where you're expecting them to be at least competing to try to get points, not always getting a DNF. And this one was a little bit of a Zhou Guan Yu's a little bit, but still, just even the Silverstone one they just need to figure out how to get something done there.
Yeah. And they definitely can. They're a good race team. They've had success. They had a decent amount of success last year. They just have to continue it into this coming up summer break, or figure out how to right the wrongs before summer break and then pick up the momentum after summer. What race is it after summer break?
Let's check the schedule real quick. Now, after the summer break, we're going to the Dutch Grand Prix. August 25th through 27th, where we will be back in the Bradley Basin studio in the Melton Student Center once again for that one. So looking forward to that one.
I'll be able to look you in your eye.
You're looking me in my eye right now.
Yeah, but not in real life. It's over Discord.
This is real. A little bit.
I can't touch you.
Yeah, do you just want to go ahead and just get right into a quick episode? You want to get into our Belgium Grand Prix?
That sounds good to me.
Prediction?
It's always good to talk about Spa.
It always is good to talk about Spa. So yes, the Formula One MSC Bruce's Belgian Grand Prix 2023 at the iconic Spa circuit. Race time is 8 a.m. Central Time. That's not the same for me as y'all, but you get what I'm trying to say with that one. Qualifying will be at we got a sprint weekend this weekend, Noah.
Oh God.
Qualifying is on Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time. The sprint shootout is on Saturday, July 29th at 5 a.m. Ooh, that's a rough one for y'all. That'll be 6 for me. And then the sprint is at 9:30 on Saturday, and the race again, as I said, at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. It'll be 3 o'clock there. But the Spa circuit. So the Circuit de Spa Francorchamps, I think I pronounced that right. Don't be mean to me if I'm wrong. Is 18 turns with a circuit length of 7.004 kilometers, 44 laps. One of the shorter track distances for an F1 race, if I do recall correctly, in terms of number of laps at least. First Grand Prix was held here in 1950, 308.052 kilometers. Lap record is held by Valtteri Bottas in 2018 with a 146.286. We got 2 DRS zones, one after turn. We have 19 turns here. One from turn 19 all the way down to turn 1 through the main straight, and then we have one near the back straight between 4 and 5. Noah, Spa.
I mean, Spa kind of speaks for itself. It's world renowned. I especially like watching endurance races on it. If Ben was here, he'd back me up. But it's a fantastic circuit. There's a reason it's been around since the 1950s. 1950s, it used to be a little bit different. Of course, they had the haystack lining the road, and it was a lot more dangerous back then. There was a couple of modifications. I believe where turn 5 is, it used to just be a continuous straight for about another mile or two before turning back in to 7 or 8, if memory serves me correctly. But, I mean, it's Spa. Everybody knows
It is Spa.
It is indeed Spa. It is indeed a racetrack on the F1 calendar. It's
That
one of
is
the
a
most.
fact.
It is one of the most historically known. Of course, the big thing everybody talks about is 1 through 5. It's extremely fast paced, and going into 5, you got to have nerves of steel. It's one of the great overtaking tracks because of that run from 4 to 5. The rest of the circuit, Sector 2 and Sector 3, is an extremely technically challenging circuit. So you have the complete lineup of fast and then the sweeping turns from 5 all the way down to 19. It is an extremely great circuit for the driver. It's an extremely great circuit for the viewing audience, and it's an extremely technically hard track for those that love to challenge themselves. Griggs, I believe this is the first one you're going to be watching because the last 2 years has been rained out, right? Is that right?
No, they did it last year. Max won last year, and then Charles got a 5-second time penalty, so that's probably why you're forgetting it.
Well, all I really remember is the one guy had his one fastest lap 2 years ago on this track. The Russian got a fastest lap. The streets, remember, is fastest
Nikita
lap.
Mazepin.
Nikita
But it didn't
Mazepin.
count because he was like 19th.
He was, but he still got it. It's in the record book somewhere. That's where George Russell got a podium. So
Wait, was this the race last year that got rained out? Wait, no, this wasn't. No, because George Russell finished second in that race.
yeah, no, the rained out race that I'm talking about was 2 years ago.
Got it. Okay, yeah, sorry. But yeah, I mean, it's a great track. I mean, what I remember seeing last year, just when you think Formula One classic, just circuit, you kind of think of Spa. You think of Monza. You think of Imola. You think of Silverstone. Those are the ones that my brain just directly goes to when I'm thinking of a circuit just made for this type of stuff, not just a street circuit. So this is one of the classics of Formula One, 1950. That's a long, long time ago. Coming up on 75 years in 2 years, 73 years old of this track. But I'm looking at a lot of straight lines. So that means we're favoring a lot of Red Bulls right here, especially if they can nail that from 15 over to 18. Not really a lot of turning going on there, so you're most likely going to be flat out.
Well, you look at any racing circuit in the world right now, you start to favor Red Bull. So that's not to nitpick at you, but
it depends. I mean, you could see in the sprints circuit. I mean, it's a different weekend. You get two different separate qualifying sessions. You basically get two different races.
that is correct. Are they
So
carrying over the same qualifying tire
it's
selection?
I do not know. I don't believe so. I believe that was just a test for that. Hold on.
Because I think it worked
But
pretty
yeah,
well. We had a different guy in pole, so
it was interesting. What is your thoughts on that? Because when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, but then just the way teams had to like save these certain tires, they were forced to use more of their tires for the week. Because mostly in these sprint races, you're bringing extra soft tires because you're wanting to get the fastest you can be.
well, here's the thing. Anytime there is something new that is implemented, nobody's really going to know how to react. And we kind of saw that this past qualifying session. And if F1 chooses to continue to go with it, the teams are going to get used to it, and they're going to create a strategy that benefits them a whole lot more than what we saw just in this trial run. If you show me it a couple more times, I'll probably gain a more reasonable opinion on it. But right now, I think it's all right. If F1 wants to continue with it, I'm happy with it. I think a lot of other people will be happy with it too. Yeah, it works in my opinion. If they didn't want to go with it, I'd understand that too. I hadn't really seen any of the team's reaction from it, so I'm wondering what they
Lewis
think.
said he didn't really like it, but that was after he won, so I don't take that as you will.
Well, Lewis also hates
Um,
tires, so there's that.
that is true. Um, let's check the weather real quick in Belgium for this one. Hold on. Contrary to popular belief, I do not have Belgium saved on my Apple whatever it's called, Apple Weather. Alrighty, we're looking for some rain on Friday. Saturday looks to be cloudy, and then Sunday partly cloudy around the mid 60s. So there's that.
Well, it's also one of those places, Belgium, you never can really tell. You know,
Hmm.
it's one of those weird countries, kind of like England, where it can always just pop out just like that, and we could have rain on our hands.
We could have weather. Alrighty, so it is time for our smooth operators prediction. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's start with pole position, though, as we always do, and then we're gonna see. Let's go. Who do you think is gonna get pole position for the sprint? Who's gonna win the sprint? So let's do all three of those right off the bat.
Okay, so this is regular. You said regular poll first, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think it's going to be Max Verstappen. I mean, we hope it's not, but you know,
You hope it's not.
we hope it's not. We hope we get some excitement in there and we bring some ratings in. I am very interested to see what the ratings look like for this race because Max Verstappen didn't start on it, and I'm sure there are some other factors, but I am very interested to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Max. Just again, he had one race off from being on pole, but just the way this track is set up is just him to repeat on this pole position where, dude, he's just so freaking fast on some of these things. It's just, I think the key thing though with Max though is how quickly he hits those turns from 7 to 9. How quickly can he get from 7 to 9 where you have that big like kind of just 180-degree turn on the track? I think that'll be key for him if he's going to get that one, just to be able to just maintain speed like he always has. But still, I think that's something to look out for there. Ben did not give me a poll, so we're just gonna move
Well,
on.
I
Um,
think it's Max. I think he would
yeah,
choose
I'm gonna
Max.
go with you. I think going Max. And then do you think Max is gonna get pulled for sprint and win the sprint?
um, I mean, probably. There's no
Hmm.
reason not to bet against the guy. I think everybody in the known foreseeable universe and probably other universes where we haven't made contact yet Probably thinks Max Verstappen's going to win the pole along with all the other qualifyings. They could have a one-lap shootout, and Max Verstappen would probably win it. Let's just – he could start from the back.
Nah, maybe not.
At Daytona, he could.
At the Brickyard, he could.
Yeah, at the Brickyard.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Max on both. Maybe get a little bit of dash of Lando on one or the other, but I think it's just gonna be Max. All right, it is time for our non-podium prediction, our normal prediction, our laid-back prediction, one that's not gonna blow your socks off. Noah, we'll start with you.
Laid-back prediction. I'm going to go – kind of going to carry what I had over from last time. There will be 2 yellow flags during this race. That'll be my laid-back prediction.
I'm going to go Alonso P6 or above.
That could definitely happen.
Yeah, they've been off the pace a little bit these past couple weeks, but I think they'll bounce back.
Well, Lance Stroll had a good race. That's all that matters.
Yeah, he had
Number one driver.
Number one driver, yes. People forget that. And then Ben's was Checo P4. Pretty laid back after today, I'd say.
That is pretty laid back. He's on the beach right now, so.
He's on the beach. He doesn't want to face the music about his predictions, which were terrible. I don't listen back to the show right before we do our show, so I don't really remember what it was, but I'm going to guess he had Max winning, but yeah. All right, it's time for our crazy prediction, our wild one. Noah, what do you got?
Crazy prediction. Oh, God. See, I don't think about these beforehand.
I don't think about my crazy one beforehand. I think about my podium a little bit, but
my crazy prediction is that we get a Ferrari on the podium. That is my crazy prediction. It hasn't happened in a while, but this weekend in Belgium, where things happen over there, but I don't have the fun facts pulled up because my phone just died a second
waffles.
Ago. Waffles, yeah, Belgian waffles. And that's what's going to help Ferrari get on podium this race.
I'm thinking about Alpine right now.
I think everybody is.
No kidding. Crazy prediction. What? I don't know. I don't think about these until then. I'm gonna go Daniel Ricciardo P8 or above.
I'll match you on that. I'll agree with you on your crazy prediction. I might make that mine. Exactly. Put her there. Put her there, old friend.
Put her there. Yeah. And Ben's was Alpine double points. Now, he said that, so it's not going to be cursed because of me. So remember, that's Ben saying that.
Exactly. So if Ben's wrong,
it's on Ben. It's not me.
On Ben.
Not me.
It's on Ben, folks. It's all
not
Ben's
me.
fault. Not us.
All right. Time for our podium predictions. Ben's got Max P1, Norris P2, and Lewis P3. Noah, what you got?
All right. P3 is going to be Lando Norris. He'll get another podium. He'll spike another champagne bottle. Probably won't break the trophy this time.
Yeah, if I'm Max, I move that trophy to the ground behind the podium because the P1 podium is like level with his height where he can get it down enough and just spike it.
Exactly. I don't get why he doesn't do it like on the railing so it like shoots over the people. It'd be a cool visual. Somebody needs to tell him to do that. P3 Lando Norris. P2 Charles Leclerc. And I'm going to do it. For the first time ever, I'm going to be boring. Because Belgium starts with B, and I don't have fun facts pulled up, so I couldn't figure out a better way to do this.
Waffles, we already talked about this.
Yeah, but Waffles, the man who is going to be taking the Belgian Waffle W, because Waffle and win start with the same letter, is Max Verstappen. I am breaking new ground as a journalist, folks.
This is why we love your journalistic integrity.
Exactly.
SEC Media Day. Participant Noah
If
Phillips.
you have not read my article, please visit the WeagleFM.com website where you can read that. And
If Noah tweets it, I'll retweet it.
exactly.
If
Thank
he
you.
tweets out his article, I'll retweet it again.
Thank you, Greg.
So there's that. We might even retweet it from the SMOP account. Who knows? Which, if you're not following the SMOP account already, what are you doing?
Yes, please follow that SMOP account if you ever so incline on Twitter.
If you feel so inclined, like, you have 100 listeners in France. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Feel so inclined.
Yeah.
Join us on Twitter, which might not,
Yeah.
which